In different ranks, players are going to have different opinions on which ints are the best and which ints are the worst. At Immortal level, Reyna's not that good of an agent, while in Silver/Gold, Reyna is an amazing character to carry yourself out of those ranks. So instead of just hearing my single opinion as an Immortal player on where the agents would belong on a tier list, I decided to ask my entire community to rate all the agents from best to worst on a scale from S to F. The important thing to look at here is we have 1,455 responses to this tier list. So this is going to be an accurate representation of how the community rates all these different agents. And the scale we're using for this is S tier is the best agent in the game, A tier is a really strong agent, B tier is well-rounded agents, C is mediocre agents, D tier is not useful, F is useless, don't ever play this character. All right, so let's jump in. We have Brimstone at a clear 59.4%. No argument, Brimstone belongs on the B tier. I would wholeheartedly agree with this opinion, and I would not change this whatsoever. His smokes are really good, his molly's really good, his ult is really good, but he just doesn't have the playmaking capabilities of other controllers, like potentially like Viper and Omen. But Brim is a really good pick right now. Viper, this one surprised me a good amount. 44% of the community say that Viper is a really strong agent, and I guess this has a lot to do with like the Viper lineup meta, the post-plant lineup meta, where like Vipers will just win crazy rounds to their team, like so many 1v4s and stuff. But this is actually a very close to a 44% on A tier and a 40% on B tier, so that's actually crazy. I personally would put Viper maybe on the upwards of the B tier. I don't know if I could quite put Viper on the A tier, but like I said, this is very close, so it's pretty accurate. Next up, we have Omen. This one kind of surprised me as well. You see just how many votes we have. We have 547 votes at 40% about at the A tier. That honestly surprised me. B tier is where this agent is going to be landing here at 42.6%, but this is a very close vote. So just like the Viper one, kind of surprised that a lot of people voted A tier, because I think Omen's kind of in the B tier right now, like as the majority of the controllers are, but Omen's a really strong agent right now, so I think this is another accurate representation like the last two. Next up, we have Killjoy, and this is one of the main reasons why I asked the community where their votes would be, because I kind of have a bias because I got like 600 hours played on Killjoy. So let's see what the community has Killjoy rated. Oh no, not the 34.2% on the C tier. Oh, come on. I love the people who put Killjoy A tier. I assume that like these A tier ranks for Killjoy comes from like the lower ranks, because Killjoy is super strong in the low ranks because people don't know how to counter Killjoy and break these setups. 34% of the community is at B tier and 34% is at C tier. While it looks like this is 2 votes off, so I suppose we could label this as just kind of in between, maybe a B plus or not a B plus, either a B minus or a C plus is how we'd put Killjoy, which I think this is honestly really fair, because depending on who you put on Killjoy and how smart they are on Killjoy, they could do a great job and make some really good plays. Especially since Chamber recently got nerfed, I think this is a fair vote for Killjoy. Cypher, I think this is a very obvious vote. Mediocre agent at 630 votes, 44%. Cypher is good, but I feel like he's the easiest to counter Sentinel in the game. His utility is super easy to break. I feel like Cypher is way better at a pro level than he is in a ranked level because of the information he gives for a team. But like kill trips don't really work anymore for Cypher because it's predictable and people know how to break these kill trips that a lot of people play. So that's why I think Cypher is fair at C tier, and everyone in the community is kind of hoping he gets a buff soon, so we'll see about that. Next up, we have Sova, and I'm genuinely surprised that Sova is not at the S tier, and I assume the reason he's not at the S tier for a majority of the players is because of his recent nerf with the shock dart hit. The drone hit is hitting me different right now as I play Sova. I got like 500 hours on Sova. The drone hit is really sad. It was like 12 seconds with the drone to 8 seconds, and it really changes how you have to play the character. But we have 44% for A tier with Sova at 629 votes, and we have S tier at 403 votes, so it's kind of close, but I guess we'd have to put Sova on the A plus. I think Sova's a phenomenal agent, and I think he should probably take a spot at the S tier, but with the nerf, I think it's honestly fair that he's at high A. Sage, B, well-rounded agent. That's kind of what Sage is. It's just a very well-rounded agent. This agent is not overpowered by any means. Like a lot of Sage players, personally, for me, I'm a Sage hater. If you're playing Sage, on anything but Icebox and Split in my Immortal games, I want to report you. You're trolling. But honestly, I think this is fair. Sage is just a very well-rounded agent. It can provide a lot of value on a lot of maps. But as you climb up the elo, I think Sage is not that good of a pick in the higher ranks. Phoenix, beyond obvious. We got a 60% at the F tier. And we're obviously going to have the people that are going to be trolling a little bit. 46 votes for S, 12 for A, 47 for B. And honestly, some of these votes might be from like people in like, you know, silver or stuff like that, where these like Phoenix is a playable agent in silver. I recently went from gold to immortal only playing Phoenix, and Phoenix is a very hard agent to play once you start getting up into plat and into diamond, because every single flash you throw is dodged. And I hope they honestly give Phoenix a buff here soon. But yeah, I genuinely think he easily belongs at the F tier. Jet, this is another one that surprised me, and I assume that a lot of people didn't put Jet at S tier because of the recent nerf to the dash, which is really fair. So right now we got 636 votes at 44% in A tier, and we got 454 votes at the S tier. I think Jet is a very strong agent, but right now CaMbCaMb is simply better. He can do a Jet dash, but better 2 to 3 times a round, where Jet has to activate the dash and use that dash within that time frame. So I genuinely think Jet's a good agent, but CaMbCaMb is just much better for doing what Jet can do right now. Next up, we have Reyna, and I think this one is the most interesting because Reyna is going to have the most varied opinion based on every single rank. Reyna is kind of terrible in the upper ranks because you don't provide any value to your team other than getting kills and some bad flashes. Whereas if you rock Skye or KO, you can add this immense value and still do the entrying that Reyna can do. This character is wholeheartedly dependent on your aim, and that's why this is going to vary hugely throughout the ranks. But it looks like the winner for this is going to be B tier at well-rounded agent. Wait, I'm wrong. It actually is going to land C tier by what? 2 votes. Reyna is a C tier agent by 2 votes. Coming up really close is B tier. Coming up really close after that is A tier. This is super interesting about how close all of these are. Next up, we have Raze, and I really like how this is. Raze has a 51% at A tier. With Jet recently getting nerfed and other duelists not being as powerful, this puts Raze all the way up. Raze has probably one of the best entry abilities in the entire video game right now, with the double satchels paired with any utility to help that Raze get in. Raze is super strong right now. The only thing is that sucks is that those Raze ults that hit for like 145 or 149 are like, they just do no damage and you shoot them under their feet. I feel like if they find a fix for that issue without making the rocket OP, Raze would be one of the best characters in the whole game. But I think this is a fair vote at A tier for Raze. Breach, I think Breach is probably the most underrated character in the entire game. Either Breach or KO, but KO's been getting a lot of love recently, so I think it's going to be Breach. So we got Breach at well-rounded B tier at 38%, and up close we have A tier, which is honestly super impressive that a lot of people put Breach on the A tier. Breach is an insanely strong character, and not a lot of people play him because Skye and KO get way too much credit, along with Sova actually. They get way too much credit, but Breach is super strong. Breach, in my opinion, is a must pick on a map like Fracture, and I would love to see Breach played a lot more on maps like Split, Ascent, Bind, because he's such a strong pick and be super useful to his team. But the main issue with Breach is you cannot solo initiate with him on any map besides Fracture and Split, because on maps like Bind, you need a drone, you need a dog, you need that information, and you don't get that information with Breach. You need to have that information on all these other maps. So that's why I feel like Breach doesn't get that attention, because he doesn't do a good job of solo initiating. Speaking of solo initiating, next up we have Skye, which is a great pair to actually run with Breach. And Skye, we have 49% at the A tier, and I really think this is a good point. I think Skye is really good at A tier with almost 700 votes. In my personal opinion, I could argue Skye is S tier, because you got a dog for information, flashes for information, and they're undodgeable blinds if you know how to throw them correctly, and you get a heal and an ult that tells you where the 3 nearest players are. I think Skye has to be one of the best agents in the game right now, so I think this is a fair vote, but I wish we would have got more votes on the S tier for this pick, because I genuinely think Skye could be up there. Yoru, this one is an interesting toss-up, kind of like the Reyna one, because Yoru recently got buffed and he went from being an absolute like you're throwing if you pick this agent to being like absolutely insane. If you find a good Yoru in your rank games who has mastered how to use the teleports and the clones and the flashes, Yoru is an absolute monstrosity to deal with. So that's why this is like such a mixed up one. But primarily we're going to have Yoru be put in the B tier. I think Yoru is an A tier character, but in terms of this tier list, we're going to have them in between B and C based on what the community has said. Next up, we have Astra, and this one is kind of expected with the one less star, the extra prices on her stars. I think this is a very good point. We got 36% on C tier and we got 20% on D tier. Even 20% of people put her up in B tier. I think Astra is a really good agent. She just takes a lot more effort to coordinate. Like, she's really strong and can do a really good job, but she's not easy like she used to be. You used to be able to just fling your stars around, pick them up, get them back quickly. It used to be an easier agent to play. And Astra's really strong, but you have to put all that extra time in her to get that extra value out of her. So like at a pro level, at a scrim team level, really good. In terms of your rank games, not as good. Brim and Omen are doing a much better job. KO. I was excited to see this one. We have 30% on S tier and 43% on A tier. This is crazy to me, and I love to see this. If you dial the clock back a little bit, about 2 months ago, no one was talking about KO. No one cared about KO. No one even thought about KO as like that good of an agent. But once people started figuring out how useful KO is and how KO can easily replace Duelist and just suppressing people, it makes Sentinel players useless and it stops pushes. KO is easily an S tier agent in my mind, but you guys will have to let me know in the comments what you guys think on top of that. If you guys think KO belongs in that S tier or if you think he's an A tier. Next up, we have CaMbCaMb, and I think this one is extremely obvious. CaMbCaMb is the only S tier pick on this entire list, which is honestly mind-boggling to me. We have 774 votes on S tier, and then we have 464 votes on the A tier. This is after the nerf. This is after he has one trip. He's still absolutely a monster with being able to use 3 to 4 teleports around or jet dashes around, which is absolutely insane. Next up, Neon. This agent's kind of weird. You don't really see this agent played very often, so it's interesting to see where players rate this character. Looks like B, 33.9% well-rounded agent. See, Neon players are so 50-50. They either run in, dodge all the shots and get 3 kills, or they just get destroyed. But it looks like we're gonna have a toss-up in between B tier and C tier, so we're gonna probably toss Neon at the low B tier, probably like a B minus. Next up, we have Fade, Valorant's newest agent, and we're going to have a 35% on A tier and a 39% on B tier. I honestly think B tier is a very good, or a high B is a very solid pick for this character. Fade is decent, but a lot of her utility is broken. But here's my 2 single gripes about Fade that makes her better than she should. You know when she throws her eyeball and it lands on the ground, that little circle shows up that you're supposed to break, and it's there, you shoot it, it doesn't break, and then it scans you. There's like this weird time in which the circle's there, but you can't shoot it to break it. So like you have to wait and like shoot multiple shots into it, or like have that timing down perfectly to break that. On top of that, the Prowlers, I feel like I shoot 45 shots into those things and they still hit me, and then I get swung and killed. I also feel like the Fade ult lasts like 20 seconds too long. I don't know about you guys. You'll have to let me know what you think. But I do think Fade has a very good pick on this list and is at a very fair spot. Alrighty, so here's the finalized tier list, all in the chart, so it looks nice, so you guys can get an exact perspective on how these agents were voted. CaMbCaMb at S tier, we got Sova at the upper part of A tier along with Jet and KO. Then we got Raze, Skye, and Viper. I personally think Skye and KO belong up on the S tier, but that's just my opinion. At the B tier, we got Omen, Fade, Brim, Breach, Yoru, Sage, Killjoy, and Neon. C tier, we have Reyna, Cypher, and Astra, and obviously Phoenix, without a doubt, just on the F tier, worst character in the game. Hopefully he sees a buff soon. If you guys disagree with anything on this tier list whatsoever, I want to see you guys run to the comments and make your point. If you think Reyna's a better character, let us know in the comments why. If you think Neon deserves more love, let us know in the comments why. Please, I'd really want to hear you guys' opinion. On top of that, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this. And you guys all have a phenomenal day.